Hey everybody, how are you? Just a second. Hey everybody, how are you? Just a second. Hey everybody, I'd like to welcome you to Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker, and streaming over me. Sorry about that. And streaming over most major streaming apps. My name is Katie Lowe, and
I
who will
am
be
opinionated, Lorie.
and how are you, opinionated Lorie?
I am doing very well. Let me see if I can get my camera back on. Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. Well, today, well, this whole month of March is what is it? National Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. We left Black History Month, and now it's time to give it up for the women.
Yes, how about that? And I played hooky from the show yesterday. That's why we're doing it on a Wednesday.
Oh, how was your day?
Last night, I went to Mardi Gras at the Mardi Gras on 115th and Kedzie. It's called
Oh,
115 Bourbon
was that the
Street.
name of the place is called Mardi Gras?
Well, I believe it's called Mardi Gras 115 Bourbon Street.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's located at 3359 115th and 115th Street, which is really like Kedzie and 150th.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I tell
Shout
you,
out to the South Side.
it's a nice venue. There were three rooms, and there was something going on in every room. And I myself went to see the Smiley Tillman Band, which is a
Oh,
band that
nice.
I'm
And what genre of music is that?
well, they play a lot of blues,
Blues. Okay.
but yeah, but they play other music. And they
Oh,
also
nice.
had a band there called Hurricane Gumbo.
Oh my goodness. One of my favorite drinks and one of my favorite dishes.
Well, listen, it was like filling your gumbo. Instead of eating
Oh,
your gumbo, the music was like filling your gumbo.
feeling it.
Because, honey, once they started to play, it was all in your soul.
So let me ask you this, KL, did you
Uh,
dance?
oh, girl, I couldn't. You know, it was like you didn't need a partner. If you've ever been to the Mardi Gras down in New Orleans,
Which I've
and
never been.
you haven't, well, as a
Mm-mm.
kid,
I've always wanted to go. I've been to New Orleans, but I've never been down to their Mardi Gras.
well, the Mardi Gras right now it's a lot different from than it was when I was growing up. I used to go as a kid because I used to go to Louisiana all the time. My grandparents were there, and it's so
Uh-huh.
commercialized now. It's so commercialized, you
It's
know.
not the
And
same as it
yes,
used to be.
no, it's not the same, you know.
And a lot of after Katrina, a lot of the locals moved away and many of them didn't go back.
Well, I mean, the Mardi Gras is really commercialized. It's about money.
Right.
It was
No, I
always
mean the people that used to be there though, like the traditional people that do all the different costumes and dance and all that.
yeah.
A lot of those families have left, especially since what the disaster that Katrina was, and many of them, some of them relocated here in Illinois too,
And
Illinois,
and and
Iowa.
a lot of those areas, you had a lot of celebrities who helped build some of those areas back
Hmm.
uh, in New Orleans. You had people like I believe Tom Cruise. I know Oprah did a lot of things down there. Quite a few of them. I mean, they not only did they donate money, they donated time. Jimmy Carter, Heathen, Habitat for Humanity, they built up a lot of
Hmm.
those subdivisions, but a lot of people were not able to go back. You know?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think I would have been so quick to go back because I I know the city of New Orleans is basically below sea level, and that's why the
Yeah.
graves you see they have those the graves are covered or kind of encrusted in concrete, and they do that because of the water table is so high that if they didn't, the bodies will be washed away. So
Well, you know what? That now you saying that I'm thinking about what Joe Biden is talking about right today, infrastructure.
mhm.
Okay, if you don't invest money in the infrastructure to keep streets, roads, highways, bridges, different things built up around in the city, around the United States, it will crumble.
Right,
Okay?
that's true, but I think New Orleans is a little bit of a different case, though. It kind of
No, it's not
it,
those. New Orleans has a lot of levees. Okay?
well, no, I'm talking about the water table. It's always been below sea level, but what's happening now, it has more to do with what's going on with the environmental crisis. And they're saying that I think in the past 10 years, the ocean levels have gone up by 2 inches, which is just crazy. And the thing is that it leads it out into the what is it Gulf of Mexico as far as where it ends.
But
So
they
all that
have
stuff is being
levees. They have these
no, no,
levees.
I understand that, but the
Okay.
thing is, you can have all the levees that you want in the world, but if all the oceans are raising 2 inches, there, I mean, there's nothing that's going to cover up complete cities. Like there's even saying like LA is in trouble. Any of the coastal regions are going to be in trouble, and it has to do with what's going on with the environment. It's a bigger problem that, I mean, I agree about the levees, but a levee can only do so much. If you're having not just New Orleans, but all, let's say Miami, even, it's affecting a lot of different cities.
Okay. Well, the name of the show is Opinions. So in my opinion, in my opinion, you have a city, so you have to spend money on the infrastructure. If you don't spend money on roads and highways and bridges, okay, they will collapse right under your eyes. You can be riding
Yeah, that's
across
true. That is
one
true.
and
Yep.
and and they will collapse. So in New Orleans, like you said, the water will come across the levee. Sure, they will. But if you don't keep those levees reinforced, okay, those levees will break and bust wide open. If you have a levee that's there and you've never done anything to it, a flood can come through and just wipe it away. So you
Yep.
have to, just like Lake Michigan, like downtown,
Yeah.
it's all landfill. The other day there was an article and it was saying some of that area is in trouble down there because of the water. It's washing
Yep.
away. Okay?
Yep.
Infrastructure. You gotta have
Yep.
money to reinforce things. And
Right. That's true.
it
That
goes
is true. But
it
but I
goes
still
back to what
maintain
Biden is
though.
talking about now, and everybody is fighting him. They don't see a
Right.
reason for
But for
it.
global warming, we have to fix, because the thing is,
Absolutely.
yeah, because that's not gonna. I mean, here we're landlocked. I mean, we do have some water. Was it St. Lawrence? I think empties out into the Atlantic Ocean. So it's. I mean, the water levels will affect us, but all of these people that are on these outlying, any close to like an ocean or whatever, they're in big trouble. And the thing is, until we get a handle on all this, emissions that they're putting in this carbon and lowering the carbon footprint, and that might even be a good segue into our subjects of what we're going to be talking about with Russia, with the attack on Ukraine,
Absolutely.
and then how China's involved and all that. You have these countries that are just manufacturing and not really looking at new ways to utilize energy, and it's ruining our environment.
Absolutely. I agree. Totally.
So yeah, so today we will be talking a bit about Russia, what's going on with Ukraine, and then we'll also be talking the Florida retired Florida cop who was 79 years old, and he was cleared of murdering a moviegoer. And I think that happened back in, was it 2014? And I think they're just now having the case, and then they cleared him, which is just unbelievable. And then we'll talk a little bit about Ketanji Brown Jackson and why are these Republicans attacking her, and why are other Black people attacking her as well.
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
Yep, unbelievable. So
This
yeah,
is
so I don't see. So
America.
now, so today is what, day 5, day 6 of the conflict with Russia and Ukraine,
Oh
and
yeah.
basically Russia is saying that Ukraine, they're what do they say, denazifying Ukraine, which is unbelievable because their president Volodymyr Zelensky, he's actually Jewish. So I wonder how that works. If someone's Jewish and then they're having Nazis, it just doesn't make sense. So obviously, Putin has some sort of ulterior motive, and he's going in there. But one of the things is that I talk to a lot of people, and they say, well, as Black people, why should we even care? And one of the things that I think is that we, as African Americans, a lot of us are now starting to travel more. We become world citizens, and I think that just kind of looking at things through the lens of being African American and not really caring about anything outside of that, I think that's kind of a thing in the past, especially a lot of young people that are really, getting out there traveling. And you even have some African Americans and definitely Africans that live in Ukraine, and there's even been a tension with that when they were trying to exit, and some claims of racism on that. But so I just think that as African Americans, we really do to sort of see what's happening out there on the world stage. And something else that interesting that happened is in 2016 during the election, the Kremlin, they were actually putting out an information campaign targeted to African Americans on why they shouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. And
Well,
that was done by the
and
Kremlin.
you
That
know
was
what?
Russia doing that. So,
And Facebook played
mm-hmm.
a part in that, but
Oh,
because there were those,
absolutely.
the accounts were
Absolutely.
on. There were a lot of
You're
accounts on Facebook that were illegal accounts, and they found a lot of those accounts were created by Russians.
mm-hmm.
There was a big article
They weren't
on
even
that,
people.
huh? They weren't.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They
No,
weren't.
you're absolutely right. Yep.
Yeah, they created those accounts, and you know what? Because we're talking about these accounts that people create, and they're not real people. They just create these accounts. This is
Mm-hmm.
2022. Facebook has taken on a new name and a new face, as they say, for what Facebook used
Yep.
to be, because of all of these things that happened in
Mm-hmm.
2016. It's one of the things that they've kind of what we call reinvented
They're
themselves.
trying to reinvent themselves,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
which
but
we still
there's
know who they are.
yeah, but they're still allowing people to create these fake accounts. I get so many accounts from deceased
Mm-hmm.
people, and these are my deceased friends that are dead, and I know that they're dead. I'm always getting friend requests. Now, how they do this, I don't know. But when I get them, I just post them on Facebook
Oh my
and let them
God.
know I'm getting befriended from the grave. So how they're allowing this to happen in 2022, I do not know. But I think they should look inside of the company. If you're getting these hacked accounts and you can't find out how it's happening, I think they should look inside the company, because there's got to be somebody inside of Facebook that's creating these accounts and getting away with it. Okay, Lorie, are you frozen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, okay,
Oh,
Lorie, are you
and
there with me?
the creating
Okay.
of the creating accounts. Let me just see. I think my Here, let me try this.
Okay, she'll be back in a minute. But anyway, in 2022, they are still creating, like I said, fake accounts and try creating an account on Facebook. You know the changes that they take you through. And I can say, I've had about at least about three this year. And this is March. I'm averaging out, should I say, one a month. And these are people that I actually know, and they are deceased. And I'm getting friend requests from them. So I don't know how it's done. I know when I try to do some on Facebook, I know that I'm scrutinized. Even when I post a video, they'll tell me to wait. There's a problem instead of it posting right away because I know they're checking that video to make sure the content is right or it's good so that they can put a community restriction against me even when I post music. They put a claim against it and tell me that I did a copyright infringement, and thanks to Warner Music, they will come along and release that copyright for that music. So I don't know how people are creating these fake accounts in 2022.
Yeah, and something else that's happening is that, so your girl is single and ready to mingle. So I looked on some of the Facebook dating app,
Uh-huh.
and unfortunately, you have a lot of people that go on there and set up fake accounts and claim that they're in the military. And apparently, this is a very big issue. I started researching it, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this YouTube channel. It's called Scamfish, and they talk about these people that go on onto not just Facebook dating, but to other accounts. They make these fake accounts. Many of them are in Nigeria and other places, and they'll steal people's pictures from from different internet sites and pretend that they're that person, and then they try to get that person, the woman, to fall in love with them, or the guy. It's both, and to get them to send them money. But apparently there are a lot of people that have fallen into this, and I think they said the number like 30, not 30, maybe like $30 million has been lost to these
Scammers?
romance scams is what they call it.
Girl, I wish I would. Mm-mm. Mm. Woo! I almost went there. Ah,
You almost went there. Bite your tongue, Kale.
I'm
Bite
going
your
to bite my
tongue.
tongue because I'm not going to say what I want to say. But let me tell you, this is no disrespect to men. But girl, there are some bold men in this world. You know, I've been out. I just basically do things with my family. So I don't. I haven't ventured out a while in a long time. Or with people I know, like you, Brian. You know, and I consider y'all like family.
Right.
Instead of venturing out, like I ventured. Last night was a big step for me to
Wow.
venture out in that venue. Venue is beautiful, wonderful. Okay.
You look great too, by the way. I loved your outfit.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that looks really
I, was-
cute.
I was trying to have my little Mardi Gras top on,
Yeah,
feeling good,
no, it
looking
looks
good.
really nice. Yep.
But while I was having a good time, there was a man sitting at another table, and the other two people that I was with another male and another female, and the man turns around and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, is everything all right over there?" And
Oh.
I'm like, what is he talking about?
Oh.
Girl didn't know him from Adam's house cat.
Uh-oh.
And he's sitting up here with another woman with his arm all around her. And he just, I mean, she even slightly turned around. So, I talk a tough game, but girl, I was scared as heck.
You say you want to go bust a grape.
Well, I didn't know. And the man even came to the table, girl. Listen, my hands got sweaty. I was really, really nervous
Oh
because
my goodness.
we live in a world today, we don't know what people are thinking.
Right. That's true.
Okay. And I
Or
told him, I
what
said,
and what angle they're gonna come from,
that's
right?
right. I told him, you get away from here. I don't know you. Just get away from here and leave me alone. So The male made a comment. He said, old pimp, old pimp. That's the way they do. They be with a woman and trying to holler at somebody else.
Oh my goodness. And the woman is just supposed to sit there and accept it.
Listen, I'm telling you, there's some crazy people out here.
Well, you know what? Let's go down that rabbit hole as far as old pimp and things like that. So now, I don't know if you heard about this. There's something that people are doing and it's called polyamory.
What? What
Have
is
you heard of that?
that? No.
Yeah, or they'll shorten it for poly. Now there's a radio personality
Mm.
that he used to be in Chicago and I think now he's just online, but Michael Baisden, have you heard of him?
Oh yes.
Yep. So Michael Baisden, he has a really popular Facebook page now. And he broadcasts on there from time to time and talks about relationship issues. Well, he is actually personally following this polyamory. He's his polyamory
Well, tell
journey
me
as
what
he
that
calls
is
it.
because I'm not
Oh,
up on
it's
that, honey.
so basically what polyamory is basically dating more than one person and making sure that that everyone knows about the people that you're dating. So if I yeah, so let's say I'm married and I decide and I tell talk to my husband and say, "Hey, we're going to date other people," and then he agrees to it. So he dates other people and I date other people.
So that's
Or they
like
have
having
it
an
where
open relationship.
it's like an open relationship.
Oh,
But sometimes in people with poly, they may have it where I've seen videos where they'll have a like they might be married to one person and then have another person live with them. So they're all three. It's a three person relationship.
so that's
And
like a
and not in the sex
swinger.
necessarily the sexual sense, but they just have, obviously there is a sexual component to it, but it's a relationship.
Girl, could you imagine a man? Because I'm a senior citizen.
Hmm.
At my age, telling me something like that.
Well, I have a theory on this whole thing, and
What?
you
Tell
know,
me your theory, because honey, let me say this for you. Tell me your theory. At my age, and I'm 71. I don't mind putting that out there.
if a man
Let me say
is
this.
your
Let me
age,
say
can
this.
he keep up with just one? That's what that would be my first question.
Listen, at 71, unless I mean that there, I mean he's got to be done really taking care of himself, girl. And he's got to be done exercise so he can keep that muscle up.
Right, right.
Because that
Exactly.
thing is a muscle, and you got to keep that muscle working. And
Right.
see, I'm not an expert, but I know a woman can look up longer than a man can look
Yeah.
down. Okay,
And women, we reach our peak much later than men. Men, that's like what, in their 30s, I guess.
and women still hot, honey.
Right. But
Okay,
we're like, we start shoot at 40, we start catching our second wind.
see, listen, I got brothers, and my brothers talk to me. They don't play, they don't beat around the bush. They tell it like it is. Okay?
Oh,
But a man is, say if he's 74, and he come talking about having, what you call that relationship?
polyamory.
Yeah, what the hell he gonna do?
I said, I want to do
What,
polyamory.
what is he gonna do?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't want to judge people.
I'm not
How,
judging him. I'm just asking a
I do
question.
have, and as an African American woman, I can only speak from the lens that I see life through.
Okay.
So the way that I see it, and especially specifically talking about black men, want because this is something like Michael Basin's really into this whole thing,
Hmm.
and I think that it's some because he let me just say this. He says, well, a lot of men were doing this anyway. It's just that the women didn't know about it. They're basically out there cheating. It really was cheating, right? So but I think that they want to wrap it up in a new package and call it poly because he said, oh, because some of the women they actually did know, like the wives, they knew about it. I think that black women that only date black men and say that a good black man, quote unquote, is hard to find, is that they're willing to put up with whatever crumbs that this man is going to give her because she doesn't want to go out and find someone else. Because maybe there is, if they might be in prison or maybe not suitable for her. Let's say she's a successful woman or something like that. So she's willing to put up with what. So now the men are packaging it into this. Oh, I'm polyamorous. I'm like, get out of here.
That's
Get
a
the f
weak.
out of here.
That's a look. I guess I shouldn't knock a woman for what she want to do. I just ain't gonna share my.
Right. And that's how I feel. And so that's why I say that as black women, we need to, not to say that we shouldn't date black men, but just don't make black men your only option. You have to open up all of your options, especially if there's a shortage of men.
Well, I
Don't
guess
say, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to someone because, they're Chinese or whatever." No, give them a chance
stop
because there are good men in all cultures.
stop looking at men as a race and look
Exactly.
at men as a human.
As a human.
Hey, and go find you one.
Yep, I like that. I
Okay.
like that. Yep.
See, if you take away the race factor and
Mhm.
say that they are just humans,
Yep.
you might, girl, you might find, as they say, a whole new world.
You might find a whole new world. And
Okay.
that kind of makes us go full circle, even just talking about this Ukrainian issue, is that, as black people, I think especially a lot of the younger people, under, I'll probably say like maybe under 50,
Hmm.
that they're really starting to kind of look at the world in general, and not just from, the perspective of being African American. I mean, obviously, you can't forget where you come from, but you really do have to have a open lens when you're looking at things. And I think that just kind of helps us understand and gives us more opportunities to move into in different circles and things like that, and not just kind of limit it to one particular aspect.
I agree with
So
you on that.
something interesting too that I was researching about, and this kind of has to do with Russia and Ukraine and all that.
Mhm.
That, so that they call them the Eastern Europeans, they call them Slavic, right? And the root of that word is actually, or the term slave actually comes from Slavic. And the interesting thing about this is that, because there's always this dynamic of Eastern European and Western Europe, and there's always kind of more the wealthier nations are in the western part of Europe. But what happened was in ninth century, the Moors, or the Arabs that took over Spain, they actually enslaved the people in Eastern Europe for many 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 years. So that's how the word slave came from that word Slavic. So
What?
it's, yeah, it's very very interesting. And even like Vladimir Putin, he there was a quote that he said. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, I was reading in the publication The Griot, and there was the ambassador to Russia. His name is Michael McFaul. He was talking to them, and he said that Putin sees things very much through an ethnic lens. And when he and President Joe Biden were meeting or when they were meeting back in 2008 to talk about the attack in on Georgia, the state of Georgia, or the country of Georgia, Putin stared intensely into their eyes, is what it says, and ran his finger down the side of his face and said, "You know what's wrong with you Americans? You look at us and assume we think like you, and we don't." And so to McFall, he said there was a clear message that we are Slavs, not white people. So, which interesting take on that. So, and I think it has to do with perhaps that legacy of slavery that they experienced. So they think of themselves as being very different from the
No,
Western
they're no
European.
different. I think this just a play on word because I believe that this is just my belief because the name of the show is Opinion.
Mm,
Of course, I have one. I believe that any country that you go to, black people, African American people, people of color, I believe there's discrimination. I
right.
believe that there is discrimination against people of color. And I may, and listen, I may be wrong. This is just my opinion. And somebody else may come along and show me something very different.
Right. I
But
mean, I believe that too. I mean, just for my travels, I will definitely say there I wouldn't necessarily say discrimination, but I would definitely say that you can't take away your black skin. Put it that way. That's the first thing that someone notices about you is your skin color. And
mhm.
that's, I mean, like, I've been all over Europe. I've never been to Eastern Europe, but I've been all over Western Europe, Africa, Latin America and places like that. And that definitely is something. I mean, being an American, that and being black, it almost kind of elevates you. I'll say that in different countries when they find out you're American. Um, like
Even
for
in
example,
Africa, even
yeah.
Africans that even Africans that come here and we are here, they treat us different.
Well, actually, in Africa, as an African American, I was treated very, very well.
But I'm talking about those that come here to the United States.
Yes, some of them, yeah. And I think that has to do with because, everyone wants to be, our reputation precedes us, put it like that, as far as what they, probably see on TV, like some of the movies, they think we're all, like gangsters or something like that, and they want to kind of separate themselves from us to show that they're different. But at the end of the day, I mean, if they have black skin, most white Americans are not going to sit there and dissect, who they are or whatever. They're just going to see them as just being black people,
Right.
because they'll
They
get a ticket and get
say,
pulled over just like any African American would. But I will say though that in like my experience in Kenya was very very positive. Just being African American, they actually every country that I've gone to, I mean, there is some sort of a kind of recognition of race, but like I said, being American kind of elevates you a bit, you know.
somebody, Lindley Jackson said, as if we're beneath them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Some of them, but
Hmm.
mostly I would say no, just from my experiences.
I'm not saying that everybody is like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that racism is not only in the United States. I'm just saying this is a thing throughout America.
Yeah. But here's something. The funny part about it is that I've had Africans tell me the same thing about African Americans. I've had them tell me that, oh, you guys think you're better than us. I have heard them say that because I used to work with a bunch of them. So I think that we probably have this little, both sides probably have animosity. And you know what though? I'm going to say this though, that many African Americans will say we don't consider them black, like a Nigerian. I've had I've had people in my family. They'll say, "Oh, like we'll be talking about something," because I'm, like I said, I travel a lot or whatever, and I'll say, "Oh, such and such, that was they're a black person," and then I'll later on in the conversation I'll mention, "Oh, they're from Ghana, for example." Oh well, and I had a I just don't want to put my relative on blast, but I had a relative that told me that, well, they're not black. I said, what do
Well,
you
come
mean
they're
they're
not
not
black.
black? I'm like, I said, they're as black as they gets. I mean, they're blacker than us. They're from, well, you know what I mean? They're not African American. I don't consider them black. They're, Ghanaian or whatever. So I don't know. And then you have some that some black women that don't want to talk to an African man like from Africa. So I think that you just have it's on both sides. I think that we act that way towards them and they act that way towards us. And not in all cases, but the truth of the matter is that we all are black people of African descent. And you go anywhere in the world, that's the first thing that they see. Unless you start talking to them, they realize, oh, you're American. Like I said, you might get treated a bit better because you're American, but that's not the first thing they see.
Mm. I just had some experience. I used to wear braids, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, girl. I had one that used to braid my hair so I looked like she was trying to pull my doggone brains up my head. Till I found a young lady that braided it and told me that they didn't have to braid like that.
Right. Well,
My scalp would actually be standing up.
well, now here's something else, and this might be very controversial.
But
And I'm not saying
but
it's
it
like this all the
been
time.
hadn't been my experience.
I some especially if it's a woman,
Mhm.
sometimes there may be some sort of competition as
Hold
far as
on,
with
hold
their
on,
men.
hold on, Lori. Lynn, Lynn, call in 224-484-0962. Lynn Lee Jackson, call 224-484-0962. Join us in the conversation. Okay, go ahead, Lori.
Okay, yeah, sometimes it's kind of I want to say like maybe a possessive sort of a thing where
Hmm.
they might feel that maybe African American women are trying to take their men. I've heard that before. um Women can get very very defensive.
That's what they be upset about.
What's No, I mean, I'm just saying that
Oh, I'm
that
just
could be
kidding.
it.
I'm just kidding.
Because I tell you one thing, I mean, as far as like African, especially when I was younger, like living on the north side, I definitely I got a lot of attention from from a lot of the Nigerians.
Mm, you better watch out. They'll try to get
Right, right.
me set up. Girl, let me shut. I'm just listen. Okay, yeah. Don't get offended by some of the things I say because you know I'm a jokester.
Okay.
And I just add a little spice to everything that I do. Okay? So when Lori says things and I add a little spice, don't you get offended with me. Don't throw no rocks because I'll throw one back.
Wait, who's gonna throw
I'm
some
just
rocks?
saying, I'm just
Our
saying.
viewers?
I know, no. Girl, we don't have them kind of viewers. This
Oh, I
this
hope
is our
not,
seniors.
because
I,
they already know.
these are our viewers are not like that. They know these opinions, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. We
Everybody
got one.
got
I
one.
got one. They got one. He, she, or it got one. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they know we're just talking in general. And you are welcome to call 224-484-0962 and jump right on in this conversation and be heard right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, Spreaker, and most streaming apps.
Yep. Give us a call. Let us know what you think.
Boy, we just jumped all over Russia. Okay.
We sure did. So yeah, so I think that, so yeah, and it's interesting that, so there were some, speaking of racism, there were some reports that there everyone's trying to flee, that they were letting the Ukrainians leave first and blocking a lot of these, and they're mostly students, these African students, from going over the border. So I was watching CNN, and one of the reporters, she's African American, and she interviewed them, and then I think one of the Ukrainian, someone with the Ukrainian government said that, oh yes, we I guess they were told to let the Ukrainians go first, and then they're making sure that all the students are able to leave the country, and then they're also able to apply for it, like when they go to Poland or anywhere in the EU. I think they have 60 days, and then after 60 days, they can apply for refugee status. So that was pretty good. I mean, and here's the other thing too, and this is not to defend them. I mean, that was bogus what they did, but most countries and even the U.S. gives preferential treatment to their citizens. It's kind of like, when you come like back into the country from traveling abroad and you have to go through customs, they have two separate lines. You have the U.S. citizen line. That's the quick one, you get through right away. And then the real long line is the one for for immigrants to come through. So I mean, is that racist? I mean, no. I mean, it's just kind of, you have to do that. But I think that this case was very extreme as far as blocking them from
I'm quite
leaving. And
sure. I'm quite sure that the immigrants that come into the United States for the first time, or even just coming in and out, I'm quite sure that they scrutinize them a little bit more than they do. the citizens, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, I can see them having two different lines.
Yeah. But then yeah, they just want to give a priority. Even like when you are traveling abroad, and if a war breaks out or something like that, the US, the embassy will make sure that they try to get those people out, um, more quickly, like I know on the US side anyway. So there's kind of little perks that go along with being US citizen. I would imagine a lot of these countries, like let's say Nigerians, although Nigeria is quite a wealthy country, I don't know if they have that kind of diplomatic
But are
kind of
they
relationship with
are
Ukraine.
they kind of in with Russia?
What's that?
In the president of Nigeria kind of in with Russia?
Yeah, he could be. He could be. That's one of the main problems in Africa, is that there's so much corruption. He very well could be. I know that a lot of them are in with China, as far
Hmm.
as they were. China has put a lot of infrastructure in a lot of countries in Africa. And I saw it when I was in Kenya. You even see some signs that are in Chinese, because they brought their workers over to like help build some of the roads and all that, which is, and then the problem with that is, they might invest this money, but the people on the top are the ones that see it, and maybe the people, the poor people, may not even be able to partake in that. Yeah.
But you know what? I can't understand. I mean, really, I try to wrap my mind around this. Almost for 2 years, we were in a pandemic. We were in COVID.
Mm,
Almost for 2 years, and COVID wiped out how many millions of people
yeah.
died from it. Okay,
Yep. I think it
and
wasn't like 8 million. I don't know. It was a really large number.
I'll try to see if I can get the
I
exact.
think we're almost at a million in the U.S. of
Okay,
COVID deaths.
all of the millions of people that died from COVID,
Hmm.
disease that are left, and I'm talking about worldwide people that are that live to tell about COVID.
Yep. So
And now
currently,
Putin wants to start a war.
yep.
If this isn't crazy, I just don't understand it.
So we're at 5 million deaths globally,
Okay,
worldwide, for COVID. Yeah.
5 million people that have died from COVID.
It's probably more than that.
It probably is.
Yeah.
They probably got some bodies who haven't even counted.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, because I mean, some of them probably don't want. Some countries probably don't want you to know the total of people
Well, yeah.
number.
China has they've underreported. I think they're still at
Okay,
like 5,000. We know doggone well more than 5,000 people died
okay.
of COVID in China.
But my thing, after all of this tragedy, this medical tragedy that we have, because it was a medical war,
Hmm.
because it was a disease, okay? I mean, a virus, a disease, it's still, and all of these people that died, and you want to start a war?
Yep.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah. He's basically. I mean, the guy is completely demented. I mean,
What person in their right mind could stand beside him and say, let's do it?
and you know what it is too, is that, well, we got to keep in mind he did this back in, was it 2014,
When Trump,
with Crimea. They
yeah,
took over that region.
yeah,
So he did it and got away with it. Okay. But now it's like, I don't know, it's the more social media and the more technology we get, it's harder and harder for people to do things like, and back in the day, like when they would assassinate and do regime changes and all that kind of stuff. And even the US did plenty of assassinations, like the CIA. Now, because of social media and technology and smartphones and things like that, it's it's not easy to, I mean, it's not easy to do that, because you can't get away with it. People see it. Somebody's going to see something. There's cameras everywhere. So the government, they may have their cameras, but common everyday citizens have their cameras too. I mean, that's why you have all the police brutality cases and stuff, because people are they're reporting it. So now, but see, the problem with Putin is that he's operating. They're sending all these these people on the road. I think they had like a 40-mile long column of soldiers and stuff. He's fighting like he's back in 1970 or something like that. So he's getting increasingly demented mentally, and he's also just an evil person. So it just doesn't make sense for him to do that. And now people are suffering. I don't get it either.
I mean, I had a chance to think about it because I knew that we were going to talk about it today. And I was just thinking about after all we've been through
Yep.
globally, after all we've been through,
Yep.
okay, and it's been hard on everybody because that COVID, it didn't just get the poor people, it got the rich
Right.
too. It didn't care. It didn't have an address. It didn't have a stamp on it.
But when you think about it, that's why he did it. He did it precisely. He's the kind of evil person that you say like kick them when they're down. He's kicking the world when we're down. When we've all, like you said, we went through all of this stuff, so we're already weakened. Our
Girl, he
supply
shouldn't do
chain.
that because he could lay down in his bed tonight and not wake up tomorrow.
Well,
I
the
mean,
world.
it can happen.
Well, the
It
world
can
should hope that
happen.
that happens to him.
I mean, I'm not hoping that it happens to anybody, but I'm
Well,
just saying it could happen.
yeah. Well, we will be a better world without him. I'm just put it that way, because the man is evil. Anytime, I mean, because you brought up a very good point. We went through the worst health crisis in our lifetime. And then on the back of that, you're going to try to invade a country, or
Yeah.
not try. You are invading a country.
And another thing I think about, here we are in the United States of America. We've had it hard just like any other country.
Yep, we
And
sure
I,
have.
I, of course, I didn't see the state of the union address last night because, heck, I was out because the CDC finally gave a reprieve on taking that mask off, and I went out there and got some of that.
You were seeing to the state of KL.
That you were. But okay, because hey, Monday they might tell us I don't wear. So I
Yep.
said I was gonna get out here on the first go round. So I
Enjoy it
got
while
up
you
there
can.
and I had my fun. I'm back in the house and I'm satisfied. Okay, but
Hmm.
I was just thinking about all of the things that we've gone through right here in the United States of America with COVID. Okay, I mean, there's been ups and downs, ins and outs. There's been some racism. I mean, there's been all kind of crazy stuff that's
We've
going
had a
on.
touch of everything happen.
I'm serious. And then
Little
I
crime.
did get I did get some excerpts of the State of the Union address. And of course you knew I got them from the Jimmy Kimmel show. Because I
Oh
love
yeah.
comedy. I love comedy. I just can't understand some of these people in the world.
Yeah.
Now you want to go over there and tell another country how to run their business.
Yeah. It just seems it's mind blowing to think
Huh?
of that. In the year 2022 specifically, it's like that's something that would happen, I don't know, back in the dark ages or something.
And the president giving a State of the Union address and you just out of nowhere start acting crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Do you know if some of the things that the people do in the United States, if they were overseas, they would behead them?
Oh, you talking about that Lauren Boebert and what's
I'm
her
just,
name?
girl, I'm
Marjorie
just talking
Taylor
in general.
Greene.
I'm just letting you
Yeah.
know they would
Yeah.
behead them.
Yeah.
Okay, if they did some of that stuff over in China, they would, girl, they would
Yeah.
take them out in the public square, butt naked, and as
Yeah.
Tyler Perry said, bucket naked,
I'm
and they
not
would
gonna
lash them.
and I'm not gonna use the racist term that there was a YouTuber that I listened to, um Jesse Dollemore, and he I won't say what he called those two, but it was basically a disparate. He's white himself, and he's
Mhm.
from the South, but it was a disparaging term that people use for white people, and basically he called it that that word show.
I
And
just
as
don't
far as the
understand
State of the
it.
Union, because that's what they were doing. Just I mean, just totally disrespecting him. I mean, they used to do that to President Obama as well.
Could
You know,
you
yelling out
imagine?
things.
Could you imagine what happened January 6th if that happened had to happen over in Russia?
Oh
Could
yeah,
you
well,
imagine if that had
yeah,
happened
they're
in China?
people would have been assassinated for sure.
Girl, they would have round every last one of them up.
Yeah,
They wouldn't stop till they got every last one of them.
yeah.
And you would have never heard from them any
And
more.
not that we condone anything like that, but it just would be a different thing. But I guess my thing is that I mean I wouldn't want that to happen to them. I just want people to be brought to justice, like normal, like take them to court, arrest them, like because they shouldn't have been there. you
But
know,
how can you set an example for someone? How can you set an example and tell another country, okay, the things that you're doing against women's rights and against citizens of your country is immoral when you're doing the same thing right here in the United States over there?
right, as far as what?
Women's rights, we got problems with women's rights. They
Oh,
sit
like
up
with
in my vagina
the
trying to
abortion
tell me
laws.
what to do with my reproductive system, but mine is old and don't reproduce no more. But it's I mean, my eggs are all fried, dyed, laid to the side, but it's some young eggs out there that's still flipping.
Mm-hmm.
You need to try to, I mean, stop telling people what the women what to do with their bodies.
All right.
I
Well,
mean,
then, but here, okay. So here's the other side of it, though, and not that I, uh, support this argument, but you have some people will use the same argument when they're talking about vaccines, and they'll say, okay, well, if a woman has a choice in her body, why don't I have a choice with getting this
but
vaccine?
she don't have a choice of her body. Think about it. It's in the courts.
No,
Listen,
no, 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 no. But what I'm saying though, they're saying that well, I mean, yeah, they still do have a choice. I mean, not in the state of Mississippi, but I mean, you can go into any other state and get an abortion.
Roe v. Wade. Women have not had a choice of their body, and they've been trying to overturn that for a
No,
long.
no. What I'm saying though is that they do have a choice, except for the state of Mississippi where they made it illegal to get an abortion. So, but I guess what I'm saying though, the vast majority of the states they do have a choice with that. But they're also saying that if women have a choice in the states that have it,
But
legal
why does
abortion,
there
why
have
do you
to be?
why do
It's
you
the
not have a
same.
choice for vaccines? That's the
Why
argument.
does there have to be a law on a woman's body to tell her what she can do with her reproductive system when there's no law on a man's penis? Okay,
Right.
because
Well
wait
that's
a minute, it takes that male sex organ to get her pregnant, right?
right. That's true.
Okay,
Hmm.
but there's no law on it. There's no law on it,
Right.
but
That's
there's a law on her reproductive system.
right. Well, that's because women have all the power. They're the ones that are nurturing the birth.
But why is there a law on it though? It should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
She should. She is a woman. She should be able to make her own choices.
right, but
But
you
her
have to
choices are
have the
made through
law to
the court,
protect it.
huh?
I said because we live in a patriarchal society, and you have to have a law to be able to protect that person's right, that woman's right.
I'm not protect. Who's gonna protect the right of a male penis?
Well, I'm not worried about protecting
Well,
their
I
right.
mean, no, we're talking about. You said that that law that protects her rights.
Yeah.
You can also look at the vaccine. Okay,
Right.
okay. So what I'm saying to you, okay, we got this law over here to tell us what you can do with a reproductive system.
Right.
The man ain't got nothing to tell him what to do. There's
Right.
no
But
law out there to
right.
tell
But
him.
I guess I wasn't really my point wasn't really that. My point was comparing. Let's just for
I
argument's
want to
sake.
compare all three of them.
No, but I'm just saying though. So why force people to get vaccines? That's the argument. Why force them to get vaccines? I mean, my body, my choice. That's what they say. Not, I mean, aside from the fact
That's
that
what the women.
you
That's
kill
what women.
somebody if with your
Yes,
choice, but
that's what women been saying all along. My body, my choice.
so okay, so let me ask you this. So then do you believe in getting a vaccine, or people should have the not if you believe in getting vaccine. Do you
Oh,
believe that people
I definitely believe in the vaccine.
but do you believe a person has a right to not get the vaccine?
If they don't want to get the vaccine, they don't have to. Just don't come near me. Just stay out of my way.
Oh
I have a neighbor that has not got the vaccine. I don't want him near me.
wow. And
I don't,
what's his
girl.
reason beyond about
I don't want him nowhere near me. And I tell him, do not come to my house.
oh
If you got something for me, drop it in a mailbox, and I'm gonna spray the mailbox. I'm
you're gonna
serious.
spray the mailbox.
No, I'm serious because
Has he gotten or has he caught COVID before?
I don't know. I ain't trying to find out either.
Oh my god.
It's not funny, but I mean, and at least he was honest.
Right,
And
right.
girl, he come breaking up about the, oh, you better get back.
Hey, at least he told. Yeah, exactly. At least he told you.
Yes, he was very honest. And I was very truthful. Get the hell out of here. Don't come
I
back.
found out a relative of mine didn't, and I just, you make all these assumptions because sometimes
Hmm.
I'm just talking and running my mouth, and I just make an assumption, and the relative was like, "Oh no, actually, I don't have. I don't think I'm gonna get it." I'm like, "What?" So I was very, very shocked and surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Last night, I really, really, like I was laying there in that bed and I was thinking about all the stuff that we've been through. And now we look like we're getting a reprieve. Things are starting to turn around. Where maybe I mean life will never be like it was before COVID.
Right.
We will never get back to that. It's
Yeah.
all going to be a new day, and it's something that we're going to have to accept.
Yep.
But because we have been given another chance to correct the things in our life, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to get on the page that we should be on,
Right.
we are given one more chance to correct our lives.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you have this man that just want to wipe out some lives
Yep. And
for no reason.
has
But
wiped
listen,
out 2,000 so far
for no reason at all.
for no reason.
He can't even give you a concrete reason why he's doing this.
Yeah. Oh, he's giving reasons, but none of them make sense. The reason that he didn't give, they're saying that because I guess the Crimea, which is the region that they took over before, there's like I guess you have Russia, then you have Ukraine, then you have Crimea. There's no uh land bridge to get through it, so they're saying that that's probably one of the reasons that he's doing that, so he can beat a path. But that's what you call diplomacy. I mean, at least if he would have worked with that government and said, hey, let's arrange for some kind of a passage through that country, just for shipping and supply chain or whatever, I'm sure they would have done it. But see, because he's had such an ego, he just wants to use strong arm tactics and force people to do something, and
Sounds like a
that's the
street
whole thing.
gang. Sounds like a street gang gonna take
It's
over the
absolutely a
church.
street gang.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
yeah.
it is. Yep.
That's a
That's
shame.
exactly what he is.
Okay, well, we better leave that one alone. Let's get on to that next one.
So our next
We'll
subject.
probably go over a little bit, but I really want to talk about this next subject.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. I lost my little page here.
It's about I think he was retired.
Oh yeah. You wanted to talk about the guy that they let off.
Yeah, the retired SWAT. Curtis Reeves, is that his name?
Yep. Hold on. I'm gonna pull that up right
Okay.
now. Yeah, here we go. Yes. A retired Florida cop, 79, is cleared of murdering moviegoer after telling the man to stop texting on his phone, then shooting him dead after the victim threw popcorn at him. And so Chad Oulson, 42, a married dad, was gunned down in 2014 during an argument over a text that he sent to his daughter's babysitter during the movie previews. And Reeves expressed regret over the shooting, and he said it was a sad day for everybody, which is BS. And then the case was delayed for 8 years as Reeves tried to get the charges dropped under Florida's stand your ground laws. Oh, there goes that stand your ground law again. And it says video of the incident from inside the theater showed Oulson throw popcorn at Reeves. No one heard the father threaten the former cop. And Oulson's family wept at the verdict, and Reeves will be attending his daughter's wedding on Saturday. That's it. Ain't that so? He gets to go to his daughter's wedding.
Yep.
So that's just that. I never that stand your ground. Isn't that the same thing? Stand your ground. Wasn't that
George Zimmerman?
George Zimmerman, yeah. And another, I think there was another case with it too. So that's I don't know. These states, every state has their own rules.
Kyle
Was that?
Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yep. So these people they keep getting off, for these and I'd also like to point out is that that this case with Chad Oulson and this retired cop, they were Caucasian.
Absolutely. But the sad thing is, do you consider a cell phone or a bag of popcorn life-threatening? Can it be life-threatening?
Or are they saying that they thought it was a gun or something? Or
well, I mean, okay, he was. He got away with it because it was stand your grounds. It was self-defense.
Right.
Here's a man sitting in the show during the previews.
Okay? Right. So he's saying that the popcorn was deadly.
Well, he said he threw a cell phone, but they said no cell phone was thrown.
Oh, okay.
So then it was the popcorn.
Yeah, the video showed the popcorn.
Right. So I'm saying popcorn is a deadly weapon. That's all I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, well,
so if somebody throws some popcorn at me, I have the right to shoot. I have the right to kill them.
Well, apparently,
I'm asking. I don't know.
And here's the other thing. It's probably the jurors. I guess it was.
But you know what? And I wonder why was it a jury of 6 instead of jury of 12?
Yeah.
And then it was down in Florida.
Florida is a state that I would never want to live in. Just seems like too many crazy things happen in Florida. No offense to the Floridians out there, but you guys just have a lot of action going on there. I guess they could say that about Chicago too, huh?
Took them 8 years, girl, to bring this to trial.
Yeah, because this guy kept fighting it.
And that jury of 6 people said, what was that young man's name? Say he deserved to die.
Chad Oulson.
Said he deserved to die because he was texting that doggone babysitter to see about his baby while him and his wife was on a date night in the movie, and he deserved to die because he had no business texting on that cell phone.
One of the jurors said that?
Evidently, they found Curtis Reeves not guilty. Yeah. So they was telling Chad, you deserve to die. You shouldn't have had that cell phone out. It should have been in your pocket. And you should have been texting your babysitter during the previews before the movie came on.
Oh my goodness.
And if you ever been in the show, they be on the phone doing the previews. They be going live, hey, I'm at the show.
Right. Okay. And for me, and I don't care if someone's watching the it's just when the show is on. But nowadays, people are so crazy and unhinged that if I ever have an issue, I'm just gonna talk to the usher or something like that, have them do something about it. It's like you don't even want to confront anyone, but do they deserve to die? No.
Now, do you think? I mean, he's 70. What, 79? So it's been 8 years. So I think what was he was 71 when this happened.
Yeah, so he's 79 now.
So do you think they did that his age and I mean you got health issues. You got now listen.
Well, you see, well, they put Bill Cosby in jail, and he was in his 80s.
Yeah. Well, you got some 79-year-olds as healthy as a horse.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a sister that's 80 that'll run rings around you.
What?
Oh, girl, listen. Girl, she makes Zumba look like it's so easy.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sick.
She,
I'm
she's a real
serious.
firecracker.
And listen, and still working.
Oh, she's still working too.
Girl, still working.
What?
I like, chick, when you gonna sit down?
That sounds like, you know what, my dad, he was 97 when he passed away. He retired at 86. He was a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to just go physical work, climb up on ladders. And so that's why I have a different view on aging and what it means to be a certain age. I mean, my father taught me that age is really just a number. It's all about what's up here and your attitude.
Well, it's a number, but I agree. It's what's up here.
Yep.
I say, hey, enjoy your retirement, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get out the bed, you ain't got to.
Yep. And enjoy
Don't
life.
don't make it where you are after you retire. Don't be obligated to nobody but yourself and God.
But some people feel like, oh, if you're a certain age, oh, you shouldn't do that, or oh, you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be like, grandma sitting knitting in a rocking chair. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying don't be obligated to nobody's job, nobody's
Right.
9 to 5.
Right. Do what you want to do.
That's right. You might wake up one of the mornings it's 40 below zero out there.
Yep.
You might want to take your 40 below zero behind back to bed.
Right.
Might want to come downstairs and get your coffee
Mm-hmm.
and your breakfast biscuit.
Yep.
Hey, I read the newspaper online. And you
Yep.
and you might want to stay inside. It might be 15 inches of snow out there.
That's
You
true.
want to shove no snow and have to clean the car out.
Well, I hope that I am blessed to be able to actually retire or semi, because I mean I actually enjoy working, but I think that once I do get to be retirement age, I would like to work, but under my own rules, and as much as I want to work, not like you said, not be obligated to have to, like, oh no, I gotta go make the donuts like they used to say.
Because you know what? You can get fired so easily.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Yep. That's
Mhm.
true. Yeah, so yes, I definitely want to do it on my own terms.
Absolutely. And I look at that cop, he say his health was bad. They talked about, he's at 79 now because this was 8 years later after he had killed this man in the movie theater. And they talked about his health. So I just in the back of my head, I know it probably wasn't in the back of anybody else's head, probably just in mine. I wondered, did the jury have sympathy upon him because of his age and was saying, well, he's 79 years old. I can't send him to prison. He's
Probably so.
79 because
Probably
it's like
so.
giving him a life sentence.
Because here's the other thing too. A lot of times the lawyers they try to get that sympathy going, so they probably had him, like use a cane or something and try to look as old as possible so that people will feel bad for him. So I'm certain that played into it.
And then too, I said to myself, here I go again. What if the shoe had been that he was a black cop killing that white man? I
Yeah,
wonder what it had been
I think we
saying.
already know the answer to that one.
Well, I mean, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think we already know.
Yeah. I just wondered how would it come out because I looked at that case in Milwaukee, uh, Kyle Rittenhouse, stand your ground. Three people dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't think of the guy, even though he had been in trouble before. He was an ex-con, and he was riding his bicycle, and this lawyer and his wife was in an SUV, and they hit him, and he was close enough where he could say something, and I just want him to see something back, and he was able to pop. I didn't see it. I'm just saying what I read. Okay, he
Right.
was able to hit the lawyer, and
Oh
when
my.
he did, he was on a bicycle. He rolled away real fast, and they rolled behind him and caught up with him. And when they caught up with him, the lawyer got out the car after he caught up with him, and
Okay.
he lunged at him like he was
Mm.
going to come to him. And
Right.
when he did that, guess what? He killed him.
Oh, the boy, the guy on the bike.
The guy on the bike, he killed him.
Oh my God.
The lawyer was white. He was black.
And what happened?
I think he got 65 years in prison. It wasn't no stand your ground. It wasn't no uh what's
What
called
state was it in though?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It was in Wisconsin. Okay.
I think it was in Wisconsin. Hmm.
Does Wisconsin? Because I know that Florida specifically has stand your ground. Does Wisconsin have stand your ground?
Let me find that right quick.
Okay. Yeah, because that I don't know. I mean, I know
Yes,
Rittenhouse,
of course, Wisconsin has stand your ground. That's why Kyle Rittenhouse went to court. Remember?
but I don't know if it was stand your ground or not
Why
though.
come it wasn't stand your ground? He got away with killing three people. Self defense is stand your ground, ain't it?
I mean, we have self defense here, but I don't think that's stand your ground.
Well, I mean self
Oh
defense.
yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, Wisconsin does not have stand your ground law.
Okay, they have self defense.
Yeah, so but it's not stand your ground. It
Okay.
says it says stand your ground laws in other states generally allow for a person to claim self-defense without first needing to retreat when outside of their home or business. Wisconsin does not have an affirmative duty to retreat.
Okay. Well,
So it's yeah. So they
all
don't,
I'm saying is,
but Florida does. Florida has it,
okay,
which is
all I'm
scary.
saying is that these trials were similar, and one person got away with it, and the other person got time. Even though the African American guy did have a record, but he only killed the guy because the guy caught up with him and jumped out the truck like he was going to do something to him.
Right. So if Wisconsin, they're saying that it says allow for a person to claim stand for your ground. Okay, so not Wisconsin, but states that have stand your ground allow for a person to claim self-defense without first needing to retreat. So I think okay, so then what they're saying then is that you have to so you don't you could stand your ground and you can just shoot the person, but in the ones that are not stand your ground you have to retreat and try to avoid the situation. So I guess what they're saying in Wisconsin, like with this Rittenhouse, that he tried to, I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but this is just what they're saying, that they're trying to he tried to not go there, but he had to go there anyway because he was protecting himself.
Well, that biker, I thought he was trying to, uh,
Trying to retreat.
well, he was trying to get away.
Right, which is retreating. He tried,
Hmm.
yeah, trying to retreat.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I don't know what it was that they specifically said, but keep in mind though, this is just when they're fighting the case. These juries, that's why sometimes I don't like these trials, these juries, because I don't know, they make some decisions that just don't make any sense. And then like what was the composition of the jurors? Were they all white? Were there some African American? I mean, were they mostly women? I mean, I don't know. I just yeah, it's crazy. It leaves many questions.
Yes, it does. It leaves a
Yeah.
lot of questions.
Well, I think we are at the end of our
Yeah,
road.
we're gonna save the judge for the next time.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, because that's going to be a process to see
Yeah,
with Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, and then that'll give us the week to kind of watch and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. She kind of her nomination kind of got you know, sidetracked because of this Ukraine thing, because they announced it as soon as the Ukraine thing came out. That's when they announced the that he had nominated her.
Yeah, right.
It was the same day, so she's kind of getting, you know, getting the short end of the stick.
Yep,
But that's okay
absolutely.
though. It's still historic, and I hope that her. Somebody was saying that she's Nigerian, or her parents are Nigerian, or something like that. And I,
Uh, you know what? Let me say this. If you live in the United States of America, of these America, if you live here, your parents came from somewhere else.
right,
Okay, now if you're a Native American, I can't tell you that. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you live here and you're other than Native American, your parents came from somewhere.
right. So I want to talk about that a bit more in depth.
Okay.
And
I
definitely next week we could talk about it, because I
okay.
think that the argument is that people are, if they're not ADOS, which now I'm starting
But
to hear
the
that
thing is,
acronym.
they can, people make me sick talking about where people came from. Let me
Right,
tell you
American
something.
descendants of slaves. Well, I guess what they're saying though is that their ancestors, biologically in their family, they were not part of the people that, you know, basically built the country and the White House and all that kind of stuff. And I think that
They
where,
listen.
to me,
They don't know. They don't
right,
know.
but
They don't know
to
because
me,
they have. Let me tell you something. Believe me. Believe me. This is the
right,
business. Let me say this. Then I'm gonna let you talk. They don't know because let me tell you something. They put in the history book what they want to put in there. Okay.
right. Well, I
They
mean,
lied on. They lied on Columbus. They lied on. They lied on
well, no, but
all
I
them
guess
Confederate
no,
generals.
what I'm
So
saying though is that if you look at people that are coming from, let's say, like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, I don't know, Ivory Coast, whatever country you want to say, if they're coming directly over here, they're people that they have a different culture than we do. I mean, we're all of African descent, but you know, they have their own languages and all that kind of stuff.
what's our?
We
What was your language? What was the, what is your language?
No, what, let me finish what I'm saying though.
Okay.
So my point is that they were not part of the ADOS experience. So they were not brought here, and they don't have the legacy of living in the South, and like all the foods that we eat in the South. I mean, it's clearly a different culture. So people are saying that there is a, and, I mean, in that part I definitely agree with. I mean, there is a difference. I mean, we're all black people, but I mean, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, recognizing that we have our own, as African Americans, or ADOS. And actually, I think I do like that term a lot better, because technically you could say a Nigerian is an African American, but they're not ADOS. They don't have the same, you know, culture, like where we're eating chitlins and all this kind of stuff, and just some of the storytelling and just the words that we use, our accent and all that kind of stuff. It's a very different experience. So, but I think where that really, in one way, it's not that important, but in another way it's very important. And when it comes to like reparations, if we ever do make some traction on that, i I think that it should be ADOS, that, you know, people that have African descendants of slaves should be able to partake in getting reparations, not Nigerians that just, you know, recently came over here. That's not, I don't think that's fair at all.
Okay. Let me say this about America. And I love this country. I was born here. It's all I know. I don't know anything about Africa.
Yep.
For all I know, my ancestors might not even came from Africa. For all I know, I might not even be I could be Egyptian.
That's
Okay?
still African.
Thank you. You see? You just said it. Okay? Wait a minute. Just because somebody put a label on you, if you notice your history, you cannot go in the United States history book and read about your ancestors, but everybody else can. They can all tell you their history because they know.
Oh, I can tell my history as well. What do you mean we
I
can't tell
can.
history? I can tell my history.
You can tell your history.
Yep.
How far you can you tell your history?
True. I can go all the way back to
I can
Nigeria.
only go back to 18. I think we could only go back to 1840. And my history is way before
Well,
1840.
no, but you know why we can go back because like, well, I've done the ancestry DNA, so I can go back all the way to Africa
Okay.
to Nigeria. So I can't I can
Okay.
tell.
You are of Nigerian descent.
Yep, majority 54%, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a reason that our history is not in the book. There is a reason that they don't want us to know our history. There is a reason that they don't want us to know our descendants. Listen. We have been known as, excuse me for saying this. They called us nigger, Negroes, colored, black, African American. It's always something different. Why come we just can't have one name? They call themselves Caucasians, but our name has been drawn through the mud. We've always
Actually, they don't. They call themselves American.
Okay. They call themselves Americans,
Right.
but
And
we
that's what I call myself. I call myself American
but
because here's the other thing. When you overseas, they don't say African American. You're American. They don't slice and
I
dice
know
it. They
you
just
know
know you're from
exactly
here.
where I'm coming from with this. This is America, and our name, it's on personal records. If you go look at birth certificates, you will see through the years the way they classify you has changed.
Right.
Okay, so they just keep adding adjectives to change things. They
Yeah.
really,
Well, I
really do.
mean, I guess I don't buy for myself personally. I don't
Mhm.
buy into that. I mean, I consider I know obviously I look in the mirror. I know that I'm of African descent,
Okay.
but and just from like all the travel that I've done, I'm American.
Well, see,
That happens to be I mean because you have Americans that are various descent. You know.
and I have sat next to some people that I just knew were African American until they opened their mouth.
Oh yeah, you can't make the
And
assumption.
they were from Brazil and Puerto
Hmm.
Rico and
Yep.
everywhere else. And they looked just like me.
And the interesting thing, like Brazilians, they don't say, "Oh, I'm Afro Brazilian" or "I'm Europe." They're all
Right.
Brazilian. They just say That's why. That's why I started saying I'm American.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's the kind of world we live in. They put so many different handles on it. And every time you turn around, got a new
But to me, the important thing is what you call yourself.
one. Absolutely.
So that's why I don't even care about what. It's like
That's
you
like
just don't call me the N word. That's
I
one thing.
it's like when you go to I haven't filled out a job application in so long, but I don't know what's on there now. Are they still asking you what is it? Are you black, non-Hispanic?
Yeah, they'll ask you that. Yep. Yep.
They should just ask you whether you're male or female and your age.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like Hispanic is not a race, which is very interesting. You could be of various, backgrounds or a
Right.
mixture of all of them.
Right. Yeah. All
Which,
right.
which to me, I have. I mean, just like the Hispanics are a mix, African Americans are a mix as well. So most of us have other stuff in us where it's not just African blood.
Right. Absolutely.
So in a way, it's kind of race is not even a real thing. That's the other thing. Race, we most of our DNA is like I think it's like 99.9% the same. Everything like our skin color and our hair. Those are just uh, adaptations. I mean, genetically, we're all the same. So that's
Genetically, we are HUMAN as humans.
yep. That's why we
Race,
probably need to stop using all
right?
this
Race
stuff.
is race is truly an invented word, and if you
Yep.
check, if you Google it, or check what other source
Mhm.
you want to, you will find that out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Girl, we've had a great talk today.
Yes, we
Anybody want to?
have.
I sure wish we could get somebody to come in here and shut my mouth up.
I know, but and shout out to the professor. Hopefully, he will be back next
Yeah,
week.
I hope he does too. I'm going to give him a call. If not tonight, first thing tomorrow.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to see him
yeah,
next week.
yes. Absolutely. So what are we going to be talking about next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, we
Now,
want to
next
talk a little
Tuesday
bit
we're going to be on for real.
next Tuesday, and we want to talk a little bit about finance, about you
All
know
right.
cryptocurrencies and ETFs and
So
uh,
did you find us
mutual
an
funds, all of
an
that.
expert to come on and
I'm working on
into
getting
it?
one. I am working on getting one.
I really want somebody to come on and explain that cryptocurrency to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe they can tell us how to invest in some.
Yep, yep. Not that we're giving out any investment advice. Do it at your
Oh
own risk.
no, no. Just just tell us if this thing is real or not,
Yeah, yep. And just really
Because
break it down.
you get all kind of inboxes. I get them on Instagram. Ooh, that was Mr. Smith. Girl, you could meet Mr. Jones.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And you got to watch out for those scams. That's the other thing too, is that there's a lot of scams out there. So we need to know what's legit, what isn't,
Absolutely.
all that good
All
stuff.
right, everybody. My name is Katie Lowe, and this is Rhythm Flow Radio, and the name of the show is Opinions.
And thank you for joining us. Until next week,
Opinions are like assholes.
everybody has one.
All right. All right. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. Good night, Lorie.
Good night. Ta ta.
Bye-bye.